This is our first video for Unit 5, and Unit 5 is all about linear equations. So for this video, we're just going to talk about the three different forms of linear equations. The one that everybody should be the most familiar with is the slope-intercept form. So this is one that you would have seen in previous years in math. This is your y equals mx plus b. So this is where m is the variable that we use to represent the slope of the line, and b is the variable that we use to represent the y-intercept, so where that line crosses the y-axis. It's always the slope times the x variable, and then the y-intercept is added or subtracted onto the end. So if our line crosses the y-axis at a positive value, it would be plus that value. If it crosses the y-axis at a negative value, then it would be minus that value. We have two other forms of linear equations that we're going to look at this year. These may feel new to you. You may have never heard of these, but all of these are equations that will graph lines. So the next one that we're going to look at is standard form. So standard form looks like this: a times x plus b times y equals c. And when you write an equation of a linear when you write a linear equation in standard form, a, b, and c are always integers. They're never going to be fractions or decimals. They have to be integer values. And you usually will see it where a is written as a positive value. So sometimes in order to make a be positive, it'll change the sign on b and c. We're going to look at a lot of equations that are in standard form. We are mostly going to start with things that are in standard form and then solve them for y to put them in slope-intercept form. Sometimes standard form can be really useful for finding x and y intercepts, but because a lot of this unit is focused on creating the graphs, we're mostly going to focus on standard form simply to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. The last form of linear equations that we're going to look at in Algebra 1 is the point-slope form. So this one is sometimes the hardest to remember. So it looks like this, and I'll explain what each thing represents here in just a moment. So this is the variable y minus the y value from a point is equal to the slope times x minus the x value from a point. And so this is point-slope form because we need a point and a slope in order to write this form of an equation. Again, m is always our slope, and then we substitute in the x value and the y value from the point into this y1 and this x1 in the equation. So those are the three forms of linear equations. I don't have any assignments for you to practice simply these different forms. This is mostly just a quick introduction video so that you have been introduced to all of them, and this particular lesson is going to apply to all the other lessons that we do. So after you have finished this one, go ahead and jump right over into the slope review video.